This week, we were with Dustin Brohm on the Real Estate Video Blueprint Mastermind, where we talked about the process behind content and how to not suck at social media. Tune in and let me know what you think.
It's a great start
What's
to the
up?
day, everybody.
What's up?
Hey,
What's up?
real
What's
quick
up?
though, we got a
Happy
lot of
Monday.
happy
God,
Monday. We
Tim.
got a lot of cameras off.
I
Yeah, what's going on with everybody? It's Monday. I mean, I get the note takers. The note takers aren't going to turn their AI cameras on, but
want to
yeah,
see
we
some
like to see people's
faces.
faces. So
Tim, we're not in a good groove right now.
I know. Let's get into a groove.
We're
Let's
not
do
in
it.
a very good
You
groove.
ready?
So, speaking of which, so like obviously today we're on a call. But last week we were off because we were both traveling. Next week is Tom Ferry Summit for many of you. So we are not having a call next week. And then the next week is Labor Day. So I don't have childcare. So we're not having a call that week either. But we are coming back hard on September 8th, Monday,
Which also
September 8th.
means we got to make this call good, because this is one of the
Oh,
few.
we have, okay.
Yep. All right, here, real quick. Let's get it started. Drop a one in the chat if you watched the Alex Hormozy book launch yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
Let's see. Or was it day before yesterday? I forget.
It
Yeah.
was it was 8 hours of a live stream.
Well, and drop a two in the chat if you know who Hormozy is. You kind of like him, but you didn't watch the stream. Just so we get an idea of the audience here. Okay, all right. Everybody's somewhat rolling. It was pretty interesting. So he broke the record for most nonfiction book sales for a book launch, and which is interesting stat because there's a lot of famous people who've written books, and Hormozy's famous in our world, the entrepreneur world, but to break that record is pretty impressive. And the thing that stood out to me, Katie, was
Tell me, Tim.
you're gonna write a book, you're gonna launch a book. Like, cool. The amount of stuff that he stacked on it just made me think of, like, how can I stack more value in more layers onto everything I do? Because that's how you do something like that, right? You don't just do a book launch and break all those records by doing it the way everybody else does. He did a ton around it, and really, his books are about how to sell stuff, and he put on a masterclass in how to sell stuff while selling his stuff.
Yeah, no, it was wild. I was super intrigued by it, and also because, like, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like, all I saw were ads for his book, and the silly green screen. Like, it wasn't a green screen video. Like, it was like pretending to be a green screen video, and he had like the people in the full green outfits. I don't know if Sharon was any of those. I kept texting him every single
Yeah.
time there was one, be like, "Yo, bro, is this you?" And he never responded. So I think like perhaps it was, but no, everyone knew about it. Whether or not you watched it, you have probably seen one of his ads. And so, like, I've been talking a lot with like Neil Dingra about ads because, like, Neil did a very similar thing for Forward, right? This past July when he launched tickets for Forward, he had all of these ads running, and like he said, I think they had like 60 different ads that he had running, and he like distilled it down to like the top three that performed the best. So you might see some ads for something else that's coming up soon on April 8th and 9th in your feeds if you haven't bought a ticket yet. So it's just very intriguing to me. Just kind of the whole process of it. Because I didn't really realize, like, I guess I didn't. Maybe it was just me. I didn't really realize that the book launch thing, the live stream was going to be like eight plus hours long. Was that? Did everyone else understand that?
I had no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, it was crazy. And then what's happened is that people are texting me, "Hey, you're going to buy this package thing?" And I thought it was interesting. And then I went about my day. And then 3 hours later, they text me and they're, "Hey, Sharon's on." I'm like, "He's on what?" Like, that thing's still going? Like, is still doing an 8-hour live stream? And again, I just think through the lens of our business, right? And, he sold this binder. And I think he subconsciously handled a bunch of our objections. I don't know about you guys, but if I am going to buy a book, the biggest objection in my mind is that I'm going to not read it, or I'm going to read it and not do anything, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but when you think about the newest book that comes out, like, those are things in my head. And so he sells this binder that has like the playbooks. And what do you think is easier to execute, a book or a playbook, right? So he stacks up these playbooks, which is kind of telling me, oh yeah, I can execute a playbook. I'm not going to read a book, but I will execute a playbook. And he sacks his bar full of stuff. He pretty much says, look, all you people who are going to read a book and not do anything, I've made something for you without saying that, just by showing it. And then, 30 minutes later, he has 100 million in sales. That's great. It's pretty crazy. Dustin Brohm, our special guest, man. You got any thoughts?
I wish that I would have seen the stream. I missed it. Family vacation. I decided I was floating a river in Lava Hot Springs, Idaho at the time. But I also didn't know it was 8 hours. Like I could have tuned in later.
Probably could have gotten there at dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, at dinner or like getting ready for bed. I still could have gotten on.
And then he went live again yesterday too.
Wild. Amazing. But you're right. Like we can all take stuff away from that. If you were to zoom all the way out, I think what's most impressive to me is the amount of thought and preparation that went into it and planning all of those different steps so many months in advance. Because what most people do is they're like, hey, I have this thing, I created this thing, here it is. And they're just excited to have the thing and they just throw it out there. But this was a good wake-up call that maybe we should prepare and think a little bit more before we put out the thing.
So like you shouldn't prepare for your open house on Saturday at noon at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Is that what you're trying to say?
Basically. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, our guest this week is Dustin Brohm, sometimes known as the Massive Agent.
Sometimes
out of Salt Lake City. One of the things I love about Dustin is he's been consistently creating content for 5+ years. He's done a weekly podcast every single week, hasn't missed a week. In how many years? You have like 700 videos on YouTube, so I don't know if those are all pods.
They're not all pods, but no, I've been doing the pod for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
Is that right?
7.5 years. Every single week, right? So he's one of the most consistent people I know. In conjunction with the podcast, he also does curls. And so, that's part of the Massive Agent part is his bicep size. But I do, love the fact that you are so freaking consistent. It's amazing. But in that and in having conversations with so many agents and studying what people are doing on content and obviously also creating it yourself, like, the conversation we're going to have today is kind of like how to not suck on social. And I know you do this as like a keynote, you do this as a webinar, but I kind of want it to be like a little bit of open conversation today. So I'd love for people to ask questions and unmute and drop things in the chat as well. But that's kind of where we're going to kick things off today.
Well, that's great because when you frame it that way, what we just talked about with Hormozi's book launch and the amount of preparation and thought that went into it, I think is the perfect segue into this. Because if I were to, there's a lot of mistakes that we all make on social, myself included. Like nobody's perfect. I don't bat 1,000 for sure. We all post videos that nobody wants to see. We all post videos that suck. It happens. But if you just keep going and swinging the bat, you're going to put out good stuff because you're going to get better. And so here's what I will say. If I were to zoom all the way out and pick one giant mistake that I see people in our industry making on social, it's the lack of forethought and preparation into who the hell are you posting for in the first place? Who are you trying to reach? And this is where I know some people, unfortunately, your eyes glaze over. You're like, just tell me what to post. Well, I am. I'm literally about to tell you what to post. But it's not about some magical words. It's not about some magical ad that you run. It's not about some magical script. It's about knowing exactly who you are creating content for. And then when you create content, you think of that person or that group of people. So for some of you, it's military members, veterans. Maybe they're PCSing to your market because you have an Air Force base or something, and there's a lot of incoming military families going in and out, so you service military. Great. Maybe it's luxury sellers. Maybe it's first-time home buyers. Whatever it is. Maybe it's just a certain part of a town or a certain subdivision that you focus on. If you can literally picture the people that you're trying to reach with your videos and your posts, it makes it so much easier to create for those people. So you don't have to do this 2-year ramp up like Hormozy did with the book launch. But you should probably take 2 minutes and think about who the hell are you trying to reach in the first place? Who's your ideal audience? Your ideal audience. Who's your ideal target audience? And then just if you can picture one client, if you're like, I remember when I helped Bob and Susie and they were moving to my area because he got a job transfer and they had 2 little kids. And so they needed a house that was a certain size or in a certain location or whatever. And that's your ideal audience. Picture them in your mind every single time you go to make a video, because then it's all meant for those people. Instead of what I see a lot of agents do, which is this, spray and pray, spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks approach, which is, I'm going to do this video for sellers. I'm going to do this video for people, for investors. I'm going to do this video about short-term rentals with Airbnbs. I'm going to do this video because I think agents would find it funny. And you try to do all those things. And then you wonder why you don't get any traction.
So Dustin, you said 2 things. You said you don't post enough and we overthink the content we post. And then we kind of told people to overthink it a little bit, think about it different. And so I don't want people to get confused on. And one way I would think about it is you should overthink your audience, but don't overthink like the quality of your content. Did it sound good? Do I need a new camera? Like the people that I see that do the best are ones that really know their audience and they post a ton of stuff trying to chase that audience, trying to find that audience. And so if you're gonna definitely post more stuff, I think too many times, Dustin, our agents are thinking about who's not gonna like it. And I can just promise you that someone will not like your content. No matter what you do, somebody will not like your content. I mean, there's a fork in my silverware drawer that I won't touch. I just don't like it. It's like from my set that we had 3 years ago. I don't even know why it's still in there. It's a perfectly fine fork. I just don't like it. People will find a reason not to like anything. So
it's a stupid fork.
It's a stupid fork. My point is people will find a reason not to like your stuff. And so you can't post from there, right? You have to post in pursuit of your audience.
Yes, exactly. And you said a lot of good things there, but let's focus on that last part.
The fork.
The fork. Let's focus on the fork for the next 45 minutes. Absolutely. Katie, I hope that you are chopping this up and posting fork clips to promote REVB because this is gold. Anyway, Noel, you missed it. In the beginning, it's a lot easier to fall into that trap where you're worried about, oh, so-and-so's not going to like it. Or what about that random person from high school? They might think that I look stupid on video. I want you to, okay, 100% of the time that you put something on the internet, someone is not going to like it. Someone's going to think it's stupid. But look, most of the time, they just don't care. Most of the time, it's just not for them. Most people are not sitting around looking to criticize others on social. Obviously, those people exist. They're sitting in their parents' basement in their underpants. They just walked back from 7-Eleven where they got their smokes and their Zyn and their Monster, and they're sitting in their parents' basement wearing flannel pants, by the way. They're either in their underwear or they're wearing flannel pants. We've all seen them. We know exactly. See, if that's your ideal audience, how crisp and clear is that picture? Anyhow, who cares about those people? If you really think about it, do you actually give a shit what some random asshole on the internet thinks? It's okay if you do for a minute, but I want you to understand something. If your content is reaching the random basement-dwelling assholes on the internet, your content's actually doing well. I think that's a good thing because that means the algorithm it's taken your content outside of just that small group of followers that it shows it to initially, and it's expanded to some non-followers. So that's actually a good sign. If you start getting trolls in your comments, that means your content is actually reaching new people. I see that as a good thing. I shoot for that. That's a goal of mine, is to get trolls chirping in the comments. Now, in the beginning, I didn't think that way.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Let's dig in though. Let's go tactical stuff that you see agents doing right now that's winning on growing an audience with the avatar that they're trying to connect with.
you said earlier to over prepare, like just overthink who you're posting for. If you do that heavy lifting up front, I believe the rest becomes easy. So, so
Yeah.
like tactically, I can't think of a better tactic than you have literally someone's face in your mind. You know who they are, what makes them tick, what their struggles are, what their pain points are, what they're trying to accomplish, what their roadblocks have been, what their concerns are, what their likes and dislikes are, all that stuff. And then you're just like, okay, what do they need to know today? What can I post that would educate them? What can I post that would entertain them? And then it doesn't matter how you put it out. You also mentioned, Tim, like stop obsessing about the equipment that you have, like the camera and all this stuff. You you should not be overthinking before you put stuff out, but you do have a bare minimum that you need to hit. You need to be clearly seen and clearly heard. That's it. Clearly seen and clearly heard. And by the way, I have a full-time videographer now. We find ourselves a lot of the time recording with the damn phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has this fancy, like, $8 trillion camera, but we use the phone a lot of times because it's faster and easier and it has really good lighting. And as long as you're within arm's reach, the sound is really good. So you don't need to obsess about that stuff. It's about what the video's about, not, having fancy lighting or, some $8,000 camera.
And
I'm
I love that you
curious.
said that. Go
I'm
ahead.
curious. I'm gonna interrupt both of you. I'm curious to know. Drop a 1 in the chat if you have a target audience, like you know who you are talking to on social.
And the,
Thanks,
the
Courtney, for
piece that I
saying
like,
yes.
you talked about clearly seen, clearly heard. I think that's why a lot of the in the car videos do well. Because I don't know if you guys
Right.
know this, but the acoustics in the car are actually pretty good. The forward facing camera has a great mic on it. And so you tend to have great sound. People can understand you clearly and they can see you clearly. And that's all that really matters. After that, it's who are you speaking to and what are you saying? And so, yeah, I think, again, we overthink it. Selfie style in the car. There's so many pages and people who have grown their brand selfie style in the car talking to the camera. And I think that is just like a good example of that structure tells you like what's important.
Yeah. Two of my top three best performing videos of all time were done with the camera or with the phone with a front facing camera. One of them was in the car. One of them I was standing outside walking around. So it's all about what the video is about.
Not yeah.
And it's not the production quality or anything like that. Let me give you a tactic here. Okay. And everyone's going to interpret this differently. When I look at my best performing stuff, it's because it was controversial somehow. And I don't mean that I'm like wearing a Trump shirt or a Biden shirt or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. But my second best performing video is where I was saying, you should stop giving feedback. You should stop giving feedback as a buyer's agent. And here's why. And I just tell a story.
Real quick.
And
Who is your target audience on social though? Just before we move on.
yes,
Before you
probably
go
different
in.
than everyone on this call.
Yep.
Entrepreneurial real estate agents who want to scale.
Yep. Right. So because Dustin coaches,
So keep that in mind.
right? And so his audience is not consumers, it's agents, right?
Correct.
But he knows
Correct.
that, and that's why he's making this content. So continue,
Yes.
move on, go on.
But the concept here, you can all take it away and do content for your for consumers too. So I took this stance knowing my audience is real estate agents, and my stance was you shouldn't give feedback as a buyer's agent anymore. And here's why, and I tell the story. Well, thousands and thousands of agents commented because some of them are triggered one way or another. Some of them agree, some of them disagree. You could do a video where, you know what, homes really aren't unaffordable. And then you go on to explain maybe what that means. Well, that's going to trigger a lot of people. They're going to be like, what do you mean homes are not unaffordable? Or whatever. What do you mean homes are affordable these days? And you're going to have a ton of people telling you you're full of shit. But then other people with an open mind, if you educate them on, maybe the cost of waiting, or, it's not always about the interest rate, but about the lifestyle. Like my monthly payment on my house is ridiculous, but it was one of the best decisions I've ever made because of the neighborhood we moved into, the new friend groups that we have. Like we're talking your entire life. Where
Well,
you live affects your entire life. And so maybe you talk about how by upgrading, it's actually one of the cheapest things you could do depending on your goals, right? So maybe that's a topic. And you started out by saying homes are more affordable now than ever. You see what I mean? Like people are going to be triggered by that and feel some way about that.
And I think it's good too, because there's two approaches here on this, and I think everybody should take note. You've got the local news stuff that Katie Day does, Josh Rogers does, and a lot of other people have done. And that's almost the opposite. That's like, we are going to talk about all of the issues. We're not going to take a stance on it. We're just going to be heavily informative and let people take a stance in the comment section and argue. But I will say what Dustin's saying is, it's like, hey, I don't think San Antonio needs more roads. I think they need more buses. Right? Like, that's a local stance that local people are going to be interested in. It's like, hey, I don't think Stonington needs another car wash. And then I'm going to go into all the different stuff about the local car washes. And so starting off with a stance is a good hook to get people listening. And here's the deal. Rick may be thinking, well, dude, I don't want to like have a divisive hook at the beginning of my video, because half the people are going to hate me, half the people are going to like me. And like, I want to do business with all the people. I think I would say is, obviously there's plenty of people that do well by appealing to half the people and getting a higher percentage of the business from that half. But the other side is, I can say something that people disagree with, but as long as I package up that information well, a lot of times people don't care, right? Like, I don't care they have a different opinion of them if it's well thought out and you don't seem like a absolute fill in the blank. So I do think that, and I think there's probably opportunity to take stances on local stuff. It's like, take a stance on local stuff. And, you know, it's funny, I'm still very deep into San Antonio. But I love watching this guy that ran for mayor, didn't win. He's Republican. The mayor is a Democrat, and he agreed with her on a couple of things, right? And his comment section just like blew up. But the way he is, he's like very informational. He's not, I think we all know how to talk about stuff the wrong way, right? Like, he's informational. He's just saying what he thinks, but he's saying it in a way that's not like everybody's an idiot who doesn't think this way. And then he makes his point. And so I think there's definitely an opportunity there for you to like take an informed stance on a local issue, be informational about it, be open to being wrong. I think is probably the biggest piece when you take a stand on local stuff. But putting out that content, I think, could definitely grow you the local audience. And going back to the avatar portion, it's like, take the stance that you think your ideal client. I mean, take your stance, but like, think about that ideal client. Think about your favorite people. And I'm sure there are some commonalities there that you can be hitting on.
Exactly. It could be taking a stance on who's going to win the big rivalry football game, like BYU or Utah, like Auburn or Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, it could be, hey, this Mexican restaurant that everyone loves, I don't think it's that good. I think this is the number one Mexican restaurant instead. Yeah,
if you're in San Antonio, you should do a bun topping burger breakdown of In-N-Out versus Whataburger, because people are very passionate about which one is better. And so like, take dumb stuff that people are really passionate about and like make stuff about it, you know?
Yeah. You don't have to be controversial. You don't have to take a stance. You just have to be entertaining or attention keeping in some way. You got to grab attention. You got to keep it during your content. You could do that through humor. You could do that through something that's educational, and it could be kind of dry, but if it's interesting and people actually want to know details on a certain topic, that works. I mean, so back to the controversial thing. So Paige Steckling did a great video locally where she just ranked the 5 best neighborhoods, the 5 top neighborhoods in Utah, or what was it? I think she called them like the most popular or something like that. So it was, it was fair housing friendly. So she wasn't like, here's the best schools. But she ranked the top 5 neighborhoods or towns or whatever. Well, of course, people are like, well, what about this one? What about this one? You left off this one. I can't believe that one's number 4. That should be number 1. And so the comment section blows up. And when the comment section blows up, so does your content. So if you can do things like that get engagement, that are meant to get people giving their opinion in the comments, those are the videos that blow up and start to reach new people. That's how you get new people into your audience. That's how you get new people seeing you and going to your profile and clicking around, and hopefully your profile is dialed in and there's stuff there that they want to binge on and watch. And if so, like, that's how you grow your audience.
I love what the Ken Posick and the Orlando Reel did. They did stories where they matched up these neighborhoods together, and they had, Dr. Phillips versus like Nona, and like people would vote on what they thought the better neighborhood was. And then they had brackets. And it all ended in this like championship round of who was going to win best neighborhood in Orlando, and Winter Park versus Dr. Winter Park wins. And this, I mean, just the comments, right? Just like all
Josh Rogers,
these.
are you writing this down?
Yeah. Oh, Josh would crush with this in Jacksonville. So yeah, I love this. This is like letting the people argue in the comments.
Genius. Absolutely genius. I want to tie a bow on this concept that we danced around earlier. When you're putting stuff out there, some people aren't going to like it. Instead of focusing on how many people are going to like what you put out, I want you to focus on getting the right people to see it. All you need is the right people. When you put out content, no matter what, you're going to repel some people. Even if your stuff is completely like, even if your content is Switzerland and you're not taking a stance on anything at all ever, some people aren't going to like your backwards hat. Some people aren't going to like your facial hair. Some people aren't going to like your voice. Some people aren't going to like your personality. Who gives a shit? And see, most of those people, you just never even hear from them again. Like, you don't even know what's happening. They're just like, that person I don't resonate with that person for whatever reason, and they don't watch your stuff again. But you attract the right people. That's all that matters. So one of the best quotes that I ever heard for this: dogs don't bark at parked cars. If you're not doing something, if you're not putting yourself out there, you're not ever going to hear chirps from anybody. But if you're moving forward, if you're making progress and working and putting content out there, you're going to hear some barking from time to time. That means you're doing it right. If you're not ever getting criticism, if you're not ever getting some random troll comment, it's because you're not doing enough.
I love that. And then on the flip side of that too, if Savannah's been doing content, she's getting some good traction, like it is important to stop and look and say, what audience am I getting traction with? And sometimes we look at our audiences and say, you know what? I want a different audience. Like, this is great. I'm getting thousands of views and all these comments, but it's not the right audience. Now, the most typical thing that we see is, we just get way too many agents, because we started that question. How do you identify with your audience? How do you connect with your audience? And look, we are agents. So the easiest audience for us to engage with is other real estate agents, because we know what they're going through. Like, it's so easy for us as agents to make content for other agents. And that's the trap. Like, that's the trap that you can fall into. But on the flip side of that, like, we had Christina Smallhorn at our event, who's grown this massive YouTube channel. She absolutely crushes it. And she crushes it with like angry older men who are mad at the world. I don't know what it is, but her content, and she hates her avatar. And so like now she's gone back and she's tweaking everything, the way she talks, not necessarily the subjects, but how she talks about the subjects. And she has her audience in mind. Like, she knows she wants a younger audience that doesn't feel like they can own a home and that she can reach. And so she's changing the words she uses. She's changing the thumbnails and the titles and everything else, chasing that new audience. And so, like, build your local audience. Like, Jason, what does your local person that you would do business, what do they care about? Right? What do they care about? What should they know about that if they knew about it, they'd get excited? How do they talk? Like, what's the best way? What are the best words to use? Should you talk really fast because that's how that audience consumes information? Or do you need to make content that's slower? Right? Like, all these different things in pursuit of that audience. I love it. But dogs don't bark at parked cars is a very A very good one. It's a really good quote.
So I know that we put a 2 in the chat if you feel overwhelmed during the week when you know that you have content to create because you're like you don't know which direction to go in. There's too many options.
Love
Right.
it. Yep.
There's too many options, right? So here's been my approach for the last 5 months or so. Something like that. I'm just trying a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different formats. I used to think that I'd never even try doing skits or funny stuff like that because I'm like, oh, that's not me. I like to
Yeah.
do talking head stuff. Well, talking head stuff doesn't work so well anymore. Not like it used to. It has to be really, really, really interesting and really good. And most of the time mine's not. So my talking head stuff doesn't work so well. So I'm like, well, I got to try some other stuff. So I tried skits. I just I'm going to give you my entire strategy here. This is very fancy stuff. I spend a fair amount of time scrolling social media and seeing what others are doing and then taking inspiration from it. In other words, I'm copying the shit out of other people's good ideas. And maybe that idea is a topic, but they're a fitness influencer. And I'm like, oh, instead of that, I'm just going to do that for my audience because I like that format that they did with the whiteboard behind them and they're going through the top 5 things and whatever. So like that format I like, so I do. Then some trending stuff that I make relevant for my audience. And if I were to zoom all the way out, I'm trying all these different things I'm getting ideas from other creators, not in real estate, but in all different genres. And then I'm just doing what I think's fun. I'm just trying to have fun on social. And I think it's helped dramatically over the last 5 months or so. Because you can tell if somebody's into their own content or not. If you guys are bored, if you're not into it, if you're just kind of like, oh, I'm not so sure, but I need to do a video today, just not feeling it, that comes through in your energy. It just does. So talk about whatever the hell makes you like whatever you're passionate about in a way that you can be passionate about it. So whatever that means for you, just try stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, I actually like doing this. And then just do more of that. Because I don't know if you've noticed this. It all works. Everything works. Everything works. You just have to find what works for you and then just do more of that. It's really not complicated. I'm just trying to have fun and sample a bunch of different stuff and test out different stuff. And in doing that, I'm like, well, that didn't work so well. That did, so let's do more of that. I tried creating a few different like series on certain things that I can do part 1, part 2, part 3 of. Um, just mess
Real
around
quick.
with it. So there's no right answer here.
Real quick, drop a 1 in the chat if you have a saved folder on Instagram, like a specific saved thing for inspo for content you want to create. Good. Drop a 2 in the chat if you don't. You just scroll. You don't have any ways
Mine's
of doing
a note that's shared with you that you get notifications on probably every.
I do.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah. But for me, like that is super important is to have that stuff saved somewhere because I don't know if you're like me, but I'll be scrolling through and I'm like, oh man, Courtney just put out that funny reel. And then shoop, I'm on to the next one. Shoop, I'm on to the next one. I'm like, man, I wish what was that reel that Courtney did? And I got nothing. It's gone. Like we never getting it back. It's not going to pop my feed twice. And so having a place to save it is super important because you're like, oh geez, what am I going to post today? And then boom, you just go to your folder and start getting some inspo from stuff you've already saved. So take your 2 a.m. doom scrolling and be productive with it.
Yes. So then when your spouse is bugging you for being on your phone, you're like, I'm working. Like
working.
I'm working here.
I've saved 3 reels and I've sent you 2 and you didn't like them. What's going on? Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, I bet you that comes up. Do you think that comes up in like marriage counseling? They're like, I send him reels and he doesn't heart them or reply to them or anything.
It should come up. It's offensive.
Likely.
That's you, Tim.
Hurtful.
You're sending the reels. He's projecting because I don't know if anyone's been on the receiving end of some of Tim's reels. They're freaking weird, guys. I don't open them because I don't want my algorithm to change.
I got a weird algorithm. I don't know what to tell you. But
it's not the algorithm.
Okay.
It's not the algorithm.
Drop a 3 in the chat if you want me to send you my ridiculous reels.
No, Adam, you don't.
Thanks, Adam.
Dominic,
All right,
no,
all right.
you
I
guys
got
don't
some
want them.
people.
Rick,
See,
no,
look, I got
Darren,
supporters.
you
I got
guys,
supporters.
this is not. This is,
you know, they're bad. They're really bad.
They're terrible. I'm gonna screenshot this and send it to you, Tim, so that you know who to DM.
I'm gonna DM everybody.
Yeah, here. Just
That's how it starts out, Adam. Everybody starts curious, and then your algorithm is just flooded with nonsense. Like hobby horsing. What is it?
No,
where they
Tim,
ride
Tim,
the fake horses?
Tim,
No.
focus.
Okay. All right. Let's get back on track. You know, people don't like to talk about this real estate stuff all the time. They like a good sidebar.
So, well, speaking of, I mean, I think that for Dustin, for what you're saying, the realization for that for me was these green screen reels, right? Like Bill was doing them for a little bit. Other people were doing them. And I was like, okay, I could do these on my Moving to Texas account. But like I have so many agents. I do talking head stuff. I do REVB stuff. Like it's kind of just like the dumping ground for all of my videos, right? And so like starting the Houston Unlocked account was basically like an experiment, right? To see like, okay, if I go all in on one style, like can this be successful? And you know, Josh and Bill and a few others, like we've talked about it. And like now that you have an audience, now that an audience exists and they have this, it's like now can we add in deal of the week, or can we add in home tours, or can we start to add in more things? But I think too many people start off and they're like, I'm gonna do home tours and deal of the week and this and this and this and this, and they can't find the thing. And so often it's like whether it's a platform or a style of content, do not click on that, guys. Don't click on what Tim just sent. Whether it's a platform or a style of content, like try the one thing and like master the one thing before you start trying all the others. Because as you said, like the spaghetti on the wall thing, like it doesn't stick. Jennifer dropped in the chat. Real question: do you ever clap back at any of the comments? Just so you're aware, Mel is in Fort Lauderdale, but she is having a very good time trolling people in comments. So in the time in which she should be creating her own content, she's actually just on all of our content, trolling people. I think that you can choose how you respond. I think Bill does a good job at this, of being slightly sarcastic but still being kind-ish, right? Rick Lee does a good job of like answering and being like, hey, I appreciate you pointing that out, but like this was my intent, right? And he does a good job, or maybe his chat does. I'm not sure if it's him or ChatGPT. But like I think that you can answer it. If people get like super off the wall, I normally just kind of let it lay, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's times when you gotta like even delete a comment and move on. If it's like toxic, there's a difference between like just a little hater saying something stupid and somebody being like toxic. And I think you could delete those. I do think responding to comments is underestimated, because not every, but a lot of these bad comments are just such a good opportunity for like Tyrell to show everybody that's watching who he is, and so he gets some stupid comment and then he's like, hey man, like sorry you feel that way, this is why, blah blah blah. And people, like, there's way more people reading the comments than commenting, and so that's like they're reading entire like, oh man, this guy's a nice guy, he's smart, and he doesn't take any crap, I like this guy. So don't be afraid to clap back. Just clap back in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. So I responded to Jennifer's question in the chat. I respond as often as possible, but here's my goal: is not to win the argument. I don't care. I don't need to win an argument with some basement dweller that just got back from their 7-Eleven with their Zin and their Monster, right, in their flannel pants. We've established this avatar already, right? My only goal there is to just keep it going, like to keep the engagement going. And so a little hack that I found: if you get somebody who posts something controversial in your comments, as long as it's not like wildly unhinged or racist or something like that, if it's controversial, I'll pin it, because if you pin that controversial comment, everyone will see it, and then more people will respond to them and argue with them in your comment section, which boosts the hell out of your engagement. So yes,
That's not a
love
bad idea. I love that.
It works. And so if I have people talking shit and they're being trolls, I'll just ask him to clarify, like, oh, really? Like, for real? And then sometimes I'll double down and leave another big, long, unhinged comment. And I'm just laughing the whole time because these are not serious people. Like
Yeah.
people that spend their time arguing with strangers on the internet are not serious people. And so I just like to have fun with them.
Love it. Love it. All right. Questions. Anybody got thoughts, questions, things they want to hit on before we keep it moving? Don't you guys all start yapping at once?
I just want to say, man, I've sent you a couple messages, Dustin, like the past so many months, bro. You have so upped your game. And I'm like, dude, this is the cleverest thing on the interweb. And I'm like, are you coming over? Are you this clever? And you're like, sometimes I am, and sometimes I just steal other stuff. But it's so good, man.
Thank you, Josh.
Oh,
I
I
appreciate
have a question. I have a question. Um, Boosting your posts. I've done a few and I always get tons of new followers, but they're not followers that I want.
Ooh, okay. This is good.
They're the ones who you said are at 7-Eleven with their Slurpee and their flannel pajamas. So I've only done it a few times, but I really do get a lot of new followers. But I've also heard if you don't have a channel that's built out enough, I think I have like a little over 2,000 followers right now, that it can kind of hurt who it's sending to.
Absolutely.
Thoughts on boosting?
Go ahead, Dustin.
You want to hit that tip? Okay.
My question was going to be what posts are you boosting?
Exactly.
Business highlights, restaurants, more things like that than things about houses.
Mhm.
Or
Let me ask you
really
this,
cool
Jennifer.
local news. Yes.
Are you posting stuff that are you boosting stuff that you want people to see or stuff that people have proven that they do want to see?
Maybe both. The best
Okay.
ones I do are local news or more fun news and small business highlights.
Okay. So this is my approach to putting ad money behind social content. I completely ripped it off from Gary Vee because I like the way he described this. I'm like, that makes sense. I only put ad money behind stuff that has proven organically that it does well. I don't put ad money behind something to try to get it to do well, because that's how you waste a lot of money.
Okay.
And another layer I would add to that, since this is a nice little callback to our whole conversation today, I would look at what posts did well with the audience that you're trying to grow. And so, if Bunny is doing a local thing on Santa Fe and this post blows up and it's kind of everybody, and that's not who she's going for, even though it did well, maybe she doesn't boost that one. But if she has one that does well with her ideal audience, and she's got like 4 or 5 comments from her ideal audience, she's like, okay, this is the audience I want. You could boost that one. And Dustin, I'm not a ads expert by any means, but most of the time the ads are trying to get you a maximum return on the ad. And so if you post something that's doing well with that audience, I think naturally that ad should grow with that similar audience. Whereas if and Jennifer, just for clarification, the people that you don't want were wearing flannels, right? They're wearing flannels. Okay.
Yes. And then, so could I go back 2 months? I'm sorry, 2 weeks, a month later and say, oh gosh, this one did so well. Now I'm going to boost it. Is that a good idea?
To me, as long as there's nothing as long as there's nothing timely about it, like it's not about a specific thing with a specific date, for sure I would do that. That's exactly what I would do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, a year or two old. Like I put ad money behind stuff that's 2 years old, and it does well again. But it's what Tim said. How does it do well? Like, how do you define it doing well? The way I define it doing well is not just numbers. It's not just like how many views or whatever. I dive deeper. Are they views from the right people? Are they comments from the right people? Because to your point, Jennifer, and you're noticing this, getting more followers is not the goal. Because if you get a bunch of followers that are not your ideal audience, what happens when you start posting stuff that they don't give a crap about? Nothing. So then the algorithm's like, well, this content sucks. It didn't resonate with the audience, when you just had the wrong people following you. This is why buying followers destroys your account. I don't know if you guys knew this, but like when was it, 3, 4 years ago, I deleted my Instagram and started over at zero because prior I had bought 2,500 followers to get over the 10,000 follower hump so I could get the swipe up deal in the stories back when you had to have 10,000 followers to do it. And that put this artificial cap on engagement because so I had like what 1,100 or sorry 11,000 followers, but 2,500 were fake. So no matter what, 2,500 people of those 11,000 would never respond, would never engage. And so if you have the wrong followers, it's the same concept. So to Tim's point, just go back and look at not just numbers wise, but what's performing well to get you the result that you want, which is more of the right people, more comments from the right people, and then put money behind that. But I think you should always test it out organically first. And then if it proves itself, it's going to save you a lot of money. Like when I put money behind my best posts, I'm getting video views. No, I'm getting engagements for like zero point 0.4 cents. Engagements, which is a comment, a save, a like, or whatever, for 0 0.4 cents. If I tried to guess what's going to be a good ad, it might be $1 per engagement or more.
Yeah, I think we get caught up on, I say we, I mean me. Like we make some video or we make some piece, we're gonna like, this is going to crush it. And it sucks. It doesn't do anything. It just is like nothing. And then
I almost guess I guess wrong every single time.
Yeah.
Like
and
usually.
I make some stupid video of me in the car talking about it, and boom, it blows up. And I think like getting the emotional detachment from what you think will do well or what, and get good at posting and just unemotionally looking at the results. Because the more you can just look at the results, what kind of engagement did it get? Who did it get engagement from? And then say, okay, why did my stupid video of me in the car just talking about this? Like, why did that do well? Oh, maybe it did well because people really care about that. And maybe the fact that I was in my car came off more casual and caught people's attention. Okay. Because you can make better decisions around if your content is working, if you don't have the emotions tied to the outcome and you're just looking at the data.
Yeah. This is why just keep posting is good advice. Right? There's nuances to it, of course. But if you just keep posting, I believe that quantity reveals the quality. If I try so hard to just, well, I'm only going to put out quality, I'm usually
real
wrong.
Quick, Josh, did you unmute just to give us that good because that was
did you guys hear that?
It was perfect. It was spot on.
That's what I did whenever agreed. Dustin dropped that reel of him with his shirt off too.
You're ridiculous, Josh. I love you.
Hey, Dustin, I have a question. Man, you have such a perspective of all the agents you coach, all the agents you interview, and other masterminds. If you were an agent, what strategy do you like most that you're seeing others do right now when it comes to content to attract, buyers or sellers?
Great question. I would definitely focus on YouTube for sure. Because I just see how damn powerful it is when you do it right consistently over time. Right? I've seen what you've built with it. Even before, Josh, before you built this amazing social presence, your YouTube was crushing and you built a giant team off of it. And I've seen that with a ton of other agents. So YouTube would definitely be part of my strategy, done a certain way, right? You can't just put up anything. And then I would do what I'm doing now, just the audience would be different. So instead of entrepreneurial real estate agents who want to scale a business, I would be focused on local consumers. And I would it wouldn't just be local consumers. I would think about it a little bit more and it'd be very specific. And I would just do the same types of videos, but about stuff that they care about stuff that would educate or entertain them. That's what I would do because if a format or a strategy works, it means it's like people find it interesting. People find like it hooks their attention. And so if you just change the topic that it's about, usually it's going to perform relatively similarly, I guess. I think I just used too many big words, but you get the point.
I like how you said that you're creating content that's fun for you. And I think that goes a long way.
It's huge. Like, but it took me what, like 8 or 9 years of doing content to figure that out. Because you think it has to be done a certain way, and it really doesn't. Like everything works, but some things that I try are not going to work for me, but they're going to work for you, and vice versa. And that's why you have to test, you have to try, you have to swing the damn bat.
And I think that's why too, we spend, it's funny. We spend so much time around how you think about content. And I know, there's 100 people on the call. I know a lot of them are like, just tell me what to post. Tell me the caption. Tell me how to shoot it. Just tell me what to do. I will go do it. But I think what you guys are talking about is the reason we talk so much about why things work. It's more important to understand why content works than what to post. Because like you said, Dustin, everybody does this different stuff. And so I know people hit me up all the time. They're like, hey man, I see so-and-so in Nashville is crushing it. And so-and-so in Little Rock is crushing it. And I look at their stuff and I'm like, okay, why is it working? And is it replicatable? And if I find like things that works well and it's replicatable for other people, then we get really excited about going to teach it because it looks like a lot of other people can adopt it. But, I look at Mark's on our calls all the time and he sees us talk about all sorts of different ways you could do something. But if Mark is going to find out the way that works for him, it's more important to look at content and understand why it's working. Like, what about, the stuff that Josh is doing, which is far different than what Dustin's doing. What about it is growing the audience? Because I have seen a lot of people take the local news thing, which a lot of our agents are doing, and crush it. And you guys probably don't see it because nobody sees their stuff. I have the people on the flip side who are sending me stuff and they're like, dude, it's not working, and I look at it and it's not that far off. Like it all looks good, but there's just these little tweaks that I think they're missing. And if you don't know why content works, you'll keep posting stuff that doesn't work.
Yep. And I usually find out, I can tell why something did well after it did well. I usually can't do it prior. So
no, it's very true.
Yeah. When I look back at it, it's like, oh, obviously that did well because of this. And the hook was really good and it was concise, or the lighting, or, whatever. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course that did well. But in the moment, before I post it, as I'm creating it, I'm doing my best. I'm like, okay, is this hook great? Like I put a lot of thought into starting stuff out the right way and being concise and all of that. But even still, and I think I'm one of the better content creators at like checking all the boxes to, before you create it. But then still, I put it out there and stuff that I thought would go viral, nothing.
Yeah, but you had to know when you got the Andy Elliott one back from the editor, you had to know that was gold, right? As soon as you saw it.
Because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Oh my God, it was so good.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. That is my best performing video to date, by the way.
It's mildly inappropriate, but if somebody finds it, they can drop it in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Yeah.
I'm driving, so I'm sorry if I can't see if someone's hand is raised, so I apologize. When I do a lot of the business posts, I invite them to collaborate, and I message them and I say, hey, others that have collaborated with me, they get a lot of views, so it's very helpful for you too to accept my collaboration.
When possible, Jennifer, what I do, if I go to a local business, I'll say, hey, we're doing this video and all that fun stuff. Like, who does your marketing? Like, who should I reach out to? And, because a lot of times if you just DM the Instagram page, I don't know, they don't even see it. Like half the time the people running the Instagram page don't even know what a collab is. And so if I can get that marketing person's cell number or something, or their personal Instagram page, then I can connect them and say, hey, Dustin, I've got this video coming, and I wanted to collab it with you. And then that way we're more likely to get it.
And sometimes it's like if they're showing them, because like as Tim said, God, I hate to say this. Everything that Tim just said is true, and that's something that you could do. But also sometimes like if it's like physically showing them on the phone, if you've already done it and you're there again, and they're like, oh, I don't know, or whatever, you can actually show them if it's like the owner or whatever. Because most of these people that like run businesses don't do social, right?
Well, let me say this too about collabs. Sometimes if you're doing it the way that you described, unfortunately, it comes across as spammy. So I get people who add me as a collaborator on content all the time, and it has nothing to do with me. I don't want it on my feed, but it would be good for them to reach my audience. And so now every once in a while, there's a video that I'm like, damn, that's really good. Like I want to be part of the collab on that. But if people just create stuff and then add me because my audience would help their content do better in theory, like that's not interesting to me, So Katie's spot on. Like think about it. What's in it for them? Let them know, hey, I'm going to do this for us. Like and here's how this collab thing works. Because then it's not like this spammy thing.
And
that makes sense.
And yeah, yes. and again, on the big thing for me has been getting a hold of the business before you post it, and say, hey, I'm going to post this thing on Tuesday. Just want to make sure we collab. Do you know how to collab? Do you need me to send you a thing of how to do a collab?
Tim, do you know how to collab?
I do, unfortunately. I do. But moving on, you're right, Katie. We should move on. Let's keep moving. Yeah.
So I hope that you guys got value from this. I know some of you are just here because you wanted to get a free Hormozi book.
That's right.
So we want to do the little
we got to spin the wheel.
I have a wheel I made. I took everyone that registered.
They have to actually be here though. They can't have just registered, and it's 1:58. They have to have stayed for the whole thing to get a book.
Can you guys see my screen?
Let's go. I see it.
To spin it.
Yo, I registered. Maybe I'll win. What is going on?
Come on, Blue.
John.
Come on, Blue.
Come on, John. You got the. Oh, what do we got? Is Ashley Brinkman on the call, or are we spinning it again? Ashley, if you're on the call, you gotta make some noise. If not, we got.
Ashley, are you with us?
Yeah.
Which
Nothing.
Ashley?
Ashley Brinkman.
Oh, she's there. Maybe she's
wow.
There
How
we go.
Exciting.
John's aquarium sounds like somebody's.
Yeah, John,
tinkling.
man, you gotta mute it up.
I'm looking for it. I'm trying to mute him.
I gotta go pee because your aquarium's just.
I was actually
trickling.
very concerned.
I'll be right back, you guys.
I gotta add water. Sorry about that.
Not a good move.
All right. Wait, Ashley Brinkman's on the call, right?
Wait, is Ashley on the call?
I saw her name pop up.
Ashley.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hi.
Yeah.
I still don't hear her. I don't know if she's on.
No, she's there.
Going once.
Ashley, shoot me a text message.
Sure.
I just dropped my number in the chat.
Okay.
Everybody shoot her a text
Oh, wow. She dropped her number in the chat. If everybody could go ahead and
Tim,
what?
Don't start with me.
Okay, that's fair. I don't want to start.
I will take far more revenge on you than you can get on me. Bro.
That is fair.
That's your
that
actual
is fair.
number.
So,
that's impressive.
hey, look, we do have a lot of people on the call. So if it's your first time on the call, one, like awesome to have you. Two, we have a lot of fun discussions in our Facebook group. So definitely jump over there. Like we'll probably do a whole rundown of what we talked about today. We'll make fun of Dustin in some way, shape, or form. We like to give each other a hard time. That's our love language here. And then also, follow the Instagram page too, so you can stay up to date on all the fun things we're doing. And we have what, Katie, like 100 tickets left to REVB? 150?
That's a great question. Hold on.
Either way, I've had some of you guys hit me up. We have tickets. We have not sold out, but we sold out of the early bird tickets. Previously, we would have tickets. We'd have discount codes. We'd have all this other stuff. But instead, we just made the tickets as cheap as we could. And then we made them cheaper in the beginning. And they go up in price. And so I would say, if you're going to come see us in April, don't be like me and procrastinate. Just buy them. Because we do have, like, we are at capacity when we sell these things. And so, if John hits me up and is like, dude, I need the homeboy hookup, I won't be able to give it to him because we're going to run out of space. So, we'd love to see you guys in Nashville in April.
Thanks, Tim.
Best event of the year. Best event of the year.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of Further Together events that a lot of us will be at here and there. So like I'll be with Josh in Jacksonville in September.
Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be fun, which is tough because like I use Josh's stuff in all my talks. So I'm going to have to find some new material. But yeah, we're going to be all over the country in September and October. And so really like, I love everybody being on the calls, but it makes my day to like see you guys in real life. Ton of fun. Melissa, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jacksonville was the cutoff for me. And then I have to fly back to New England. I know. All right. Anything else before we jump? Thanks for being on. Oh, Mike, what's happening, man? You got your hand up all polite. What's up?
Nice. How kind. Look at
very kind.
There he is. Mike Welches. What's up, brother?
Hey, I have a question for everyone on the call. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, it's a little bit loud in the background. But my question is for Dustin and Katie, Tim, do you guys personally post content yourself, or do you have a VA, admin, or social media agency doing it for you guys? Just because right now that's my biggest struggle as I'm growing my team. I have the content, I just posting and making time for it to consistent.
Dustin, what you got?
My perspective on this has changed. I used to think that you personally have to be involved in every part of the process. That is small thinking. You have to be obviously part of the content itself. And like you have to provide the content. But like mechanically posting it can be done by repurpose.io or Later or a VA or whoever the hell. So I actually post most of my stuff. I do have some automation. So when I post it on Instagram, repurpose.io sends it to a few different places automatically. But I need to, and I'm working on getting someone else to do the mechanical posting because that's not a creative thing. Like my voice is not in the mechanical posting, it's in the content itself. So yes, if you can outsource that, and as long as it's done well, as long as they're doing it right, then absolutely, because that's more time that you have to create more content or service clients or focus on your business instead of doing, some mechanical posting.
Katie.
Yeah, I post natively on Instagram just because I want to make sure that there's no typos in the caption or the subtitles or anything like that, and I'm a psychopath when it comes to that. So I do natively do the first post on all of my Instagram and everything like that, and then it's either tied via Meta to go to Facebook, repurpose.io to go to like TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that. But I do just because I am very particular.
And I love that Josh Rogers has built out the machine that posts stuff and he doesn't even realize that he's not in it. Love it. I think it's great. I think most of us can probably hire a VA that makes posting it a lot faster. So captions done, thumbnails done, like all that stuff's done, and then you're posting it. But I would say, how can you take out more? Like, could you say, man, I'm busy, I'm doing this stuff, I don't have time to post? Like posting should not take that long. It should not take that long to stop at 8.
I have the content and I enjoy doing the content. It's just the mechanical parts would drive me nuts.
So I think if you can have somebody that helps you limit that mechanical part, but I still like personally hitting the button myself, but having a VA that can handle everything else, I think should be able to help you out.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that there's one right answer though, right? Because again, like Josh's is far more automated, and like there's definitely going to be typos and things that are misdone in his posts, and he just kind of has to be okay with that, right? Like a coffee
shop that's in Pennsylvania instead of Florida.
Yeah, I got told something was wrong and I deleted the post. I was like, oh god, like this is terrible. I'm gonna die, right? Like, so I think it's just like you have to understand what level you're okay with, and just execute from there, and then use schedulers and stuff like that, right? Like I just before this call scheduled out 12 posts for next week because I'm going to be at Tom Ferry, right? So I want to post 2 posts a day. So I scheduled out 12 posts that will post while I'm, at the conference.
What
But even
schedule
that, Katie-
is that, Katie?
So I just schedule them in Instagram, and then repurpose.io takes them out from there.
So, Mike, I mean, you could have a VA that drafts all those posts on Instagram, right? And then, 8:00 on Monday, you're going to look at that draft. All right, looks good. Post.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Just draft everything on Instagram and click post instead of.
And if you have, last thing, and then I'm just going to end the call. If you have your Instagram, it's a business page that's tied to a Facebook business page. You can schedule them all on your computer. Right.
Good to know. I didn't know.
So that makes it a lot easier, I think, because like typing on a computer, at least for most people, is easier than typing on your phone. All right, y'all. We won't see you for 2 weeks, but we will be coming back in early September with a vengeance. And between now and then, we'll have some live stuff. Obviously, Tom Ferry and Further Together events are kicking off. So hope to see y'all at some of those things. And obviously the Tuesday call will be rolling. So we'll see you guys.
We'll see you then.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Dustin.
Later, everybody.
Thank you.